something else.
Well, one of my like just biggest musical pet peeves is and this is maybe a hot take, but it's just like when people like, I mean, it's not like either of these people I'll say are gonna hear this. Mm-hmm. Maybe they will, but you know, Elton John or Bob Dylan, they just need to hang it up, you know? At a certain point, it's like I get frustrated when these legends kind of like...
Oh, I disagree with Bob immensely.
Okay.
Elton John can go fuck off. I don't care. He hasn't made a good record in like 45 years.
Talk to me now, because I don't really know as much about Dylan, but I just... Sometimes I get sad to see these bands like milk...
If it's someone like the Stones, I totally agree.
Sure.
To me... This is now my legal defense of,
please,
of good music. Now, I'll use the Stones as an example. I don't know why this is the first band that comes to mind, but I have personally no interest in going to see the Stones play at this point because they're doing the same act they've done for 60 years now. It's like, I don't need to go see a shittier representation of something that would have been done better in 1970.
Sure.
Now, that being said, they're all their own people and they can do whatever the hell they want and they're going to sell tickets. And like, I think that's great. And I think that there's something that's needed in the world. I just don't have interest in it, you know? So it's like, there are so many acts. I feel bad kind of beating on the Stones for that. There are so many acts. Most acts do that, right? Whether it's Bruce Springsteen or the Stones or whomever, right? And God knows, if the Beatles wouldn't have done that, if the Beatles wouldn't have ended the way that they did, you know, maybe they'd be doing the same thing too. You know, I think it's beautiful that they didn't. I think that it works out for the best in their...
I do like that kind of putting a stop to it before it gets stale.
Yeah, exactly.
And then you kind of preserve the legacy of what that was. Whereas, you know, I totally agree with you where there are some bands who just do it for so long until it's just
and if it's someone,
not good anymore. And then you kind of remember them for that.
Yeah.
Whereas like...
If it's someone like Elton John or even someone I think like Billy Joel could probably fall into this camp too. It's like, okay, like again, if someone gets something out of it, like that's cool. But like you're not making, by definition, you're not making art.
Yeah,
you are. It's like trying to breathe life into a skeleton. It's like it's just not there. You know. Bob, I find, is drastically different. I mean, his entire career for 63 years now has been constantly pushing to new places. And to me, as just a listener, I find the stuff that I am most moved by, and I think his strongest material as an artist has come post the 21st century. I think far and away his strongest material as an artist is contemporary, is the stuff he's been doing more recently. I think that
I'm just not hip then.
With him, it's fascinating because I feel it's the complete opposite. Whereas for, the better part of 65 years, people have been not happy with what he's been doing. And he's been doing the same fucking thing for all of the, not doing the same, but it's the same process of I'm just going to push to the new place. Cool. And some people are going to come along with that and have interest in that, and other people aren't. And I there's something incredibly admirable about that approach. I truly think it's the only approach to art. I really think if you truly love what you're doing, the only approach you can take that will yield any kind of results that you want is to just be as present as you can be, and know that certain people aren't gonna come along for the ride. And that's fine. And it's a hard thing because most people want to cast the widest net possible, and when they get those people, they don't want to let them go. Whether it's the 66 tour with the Hawks and people booing and throwing shit and just losing their minds that whole tour, or whether it's every stop along the way for him, the audience has been irrelevant. And I think that that's what you need in any form of art, is you need that approach of not dismissing the audience, but they aren't in the equation. And again, and I just think as a listener, I think his greatest stuff that he's as much as I love the 60s stuff and the stuff that people really, that put him on the map, Blonde on Blonde, Highway 61,
Sure.
the Freewheeling album, all that stuff is phenomenal and some of the best writing of all time. I love Modern Times. I love Time Out of Mind. I love Time Out of Mind. I think is the production I don't love as much as sorry, Lanois. But Love and Theft. Listen to fucking Love and Theft, dude. That'll fucking god. There's I guess I
appreciate that.
I just say like there are I agree with the sentiment for a lot of other people. I think that it makes me sad when I see artists just. It looks like circling the drain, but it's circling the drain that never leads anywhere.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And like that kind of bums me out, especially when it's artists that I think we actually had a very similar conversation not that long ago about Springsteen, where it's like, it's a bummer when certain artists like that I think are capable of great artistry do that.
Well, I think you get some artists who like Dylan, who is constantly evolving and constantly going to a new place, and like there's going to be people who want to hear like the record he made 10 years ago they really like, but I also can't like think of a single example of an artist who's made like the same kind of record over and over and over again without it getting stale and people not liking it.
Yeah, exactly.
Because I think when you're like a lot of those kind of legacy artists who did really well in a super like a earlier era, like they'll try to make like just kind of this regurgitation of this record that did really well 20 years ago, and like nobody likes it, even though it's like very similar musically. It's because like it's not coming from a legitimate place of inspiration. It's just like
trying to recapture that.
Totally. Yeah, and it does. It feels like trying to reanimate a corpse, where it's like. I think I guess to kind of close this idea. Bob Newworth, the painter who was a good friend of Bob's, I think said the most insightful thing I've ever heard said about him. And there's been obviously a lot said about Bob Dylan over the last God knows how many years, but he said the thing that makes him so unique in the history of American music is that the audience came to Bob Dylan. And there's no one else that is the case for. Everyone else, regardless of what level of success you feel like they've reached, there is always this feeling of they wanted it a little bit. And there's nothing wrong with that. Like, I don't think there's anything wrong with that. But I guess to put a little more context into his quote, him saying that everyone came to him because of what he was capable of doing. He would have done it regardless, though. Sure. And it's this weird thing of like of expecting something of someone for whom owes you nothing, and like, and it's a weird thing that I think happens a lot. And all of the people in art that I love the most, I find have that approach. Sure. Of just do the thing because it's what you're compelled to do, and make the best art you can make. And if you can do that, I mean, I don't think there's really another way to do it. Like whatever, like I think that's true of painters. I think it's true of songwriters. I think it's true of carpenters or whatever. Like just make something to the best of your ability, and people will, if it's good, people will find value in it.
Yeah.
But yeah, go listen to fucking. Go listen to Modern Times. Okay. That's one of my favorite albums of all time. Go listen to Modern Times and listen to like...
I haven't heard really anyone say that.
And then, they're all so good. That's one of my favorite records of all time. So I would say start with that, but they're all fucking great. Yeah.
Thank you for educating me, man. Honestly. Because I've been out here just talking shit on BD, man. I'm just like, that guy needs to just
As soon as he said something about Bob Dylan, I was like, here we go.
God damn, I'm sorry, guys.
Casey Rant incoming.
I'm glad.
That's why they pay me the bill for
seriously. Because like a great artist like that, I get sad seeing him like you're saying. So if Bob is one that he's like moving the totem pole still, like,
always
more power forever to
him. And I there's so many people who do that in art, but often they don't. I feel like that gets harder and harder and harder the higher up the totem pole you go.
Sure,
you
get old too, and
and you get kind of complacent, and like it's hard to. And that's the thing that I think. is always fascinating with him is people are always, anyone who's ever worked with him that I've ever heard discuss it are always just in awe of that. It's like, it's this constant, just, Charlie Sexton, great guitar player from, who was in Bob's band for years and was a guitar player for the Archangels. Fucking amazing musician. He's played with Bob since he was a kid, and he said it's like, the way he describes it, it's like water flowing. It's like you just can't stop it. It's like some people just are, that creativity just doesn't stop, and like it keeps going. And whatever world you're working in, I think those are the people that I'm interested in. Like those are the people who make shit that like I want to. And it doesn't mean like I may not like it. I may not like the movie you made, or I may not like the fucking the painting that you created, but it's like I want to know that you're trying shit. I want to know that you're like,
and you can tell when it's tapped into something higher too.
Exactly.
Like on some streamlined consciousness. Even if, like you said, if you don't like the paint job it's in, like whatever. But
And it's also, it's like, I feel like as a consumer, I'm not supposed to like everything you make.
Yeah, for sure.
You know what I mean? And I think that eventually, maybe if my ears or eyes are open wide enough, eventually I will with, for whatever that person is doing. But if I, like, all of the art that I think of that I love the most, that's the most dear to me, most of the stuff to me that has moved me the most in life, my initial reaction was not, I love this. My initial reaction was, what? Like, it's almost like you kind of like,
for sure.
Like totally. You almost like stiff arm it. You know what I mean? Like, but I think that's the stuff that has, that's the stuff that has had the greatest impact on me is the stuff that initially out of the gate, you might be just, there might be friction there and you don't like it, but then you grow to respect it and love it. And like that, I think if you're making something that is meant to be immediately digested, you're probably not doing something I'm that interested in. You know what I mean?
Sure.
Like whatever it is. Again, like this transcends music, but like, if you make something that sits with me and I can't stop thinking about, then there's probably something there. You know, and
got to be a little depth.
Yeah. Like I.
If you like that clip, you should check out the full podcast. There'll be a link somewhere around here. Click on it and go there and subscribe to our main channel.